Hi everyone, my name is Andrew Cruz, and today I'll be trying to teach you at least the basics on how to drive stick shift. So, we all know how to drive, and most of us do it nearly every day. Well, maybe not at the current moment due to our situation, but for most people, they would freeze up if they were told to drive a car that had 3 pedals and a stick shift. So it's important to know at least the basics of these cars so that if the need arises, you're able to at least get the car moving and keep it that way. I've been driving stick for 2 years now on my last 2 vehicles nearly every day, and so I have at least a little bit of practice to be able to teach it a little bit. And though there aren't many manual cars left out there, it's important to be able to understand how to drive them if the need arises, and it's all you have. Alright, so the 3 main points we're going to be talking about are the 3 major important aspects that you need to understand and use to drive a stick shift. The second is starting the car and stopping the car. And the third is shifting the gears both up and down. So let's get into it with the 3 important aspects. We've got the clutch pedal, the stick shift, and the tachometer. So first off, we're going to start with the clutch pedal. So the clutch pedal is what actually activates your car's transmission to power to the engine. The way you use it is if you put your foot all the way down on the clutch and activate the pedal, then you are disengaging your clutch from the engine, removing your transmission from your power. So when your foot is off of the pedal entirely, you have engaged your clutch and therefore engaging your car's transmission to the power of the engine, allowing your car to move. The next aspect we have to talk about is the stick shift. On top of all stick shifts, or at least most of them in stock cars, have a gear pattern. My car, as you can see here, has 5 gears in reverse, so it has a 6-legged pattern. So we start with our gears up in front, that's first gear, down in the left, second gear, up in middle, third, fourth, fifth, and down in the right is going to be reverse. This is how we identify what gear we're in so that we can tell how fast we're moving, what RPMs we're supposed to be at, and it helps us understand how we're going to be powering our car. Last thing to understand is the tachometer. The tachometer is a gauge that reads out your engine's rotational speeds in increments of thousands. As you can see here, it moves. It moves with response to the throttle, but there's a lot more that goes on inside, but we can simplify it by saying, as you push the throttle, your tachometer will lift up. It also indicates our shift points. At about 3,000 RPM is when you want to look to start shifting your car into the next gear up. Or if you drop below 2,000, you want to shift to the next gear down. Alright, so to begin, everyone has to start somewhere, and to start your car, you have to fully engage your clutch, disengage your clutch by putting your foot all the way down. It's not just, you can't just get in the car and turn the key. So once the clutch is fully disengaged, then your car will allow you to turn it over by turning the key. Once the car is on, keep your foot fully on the clutch and shift your car into first gear. You can only shift gears when your foot is all the way down on the clutch. So once the car is in first gear, your job is to then give the car gas while releasing the clutch slowly. So right foot going down on gas, left foot coming off slowly on the clutch. Once the cars start moving and you feel the clutch catching on the transmission a little bit, then you can give the car more gas and release the clutch. That will allow you to begin the movement of your car. To stop your car, it's almost the same process, but backwards. So instead of giving the car gas, you're going to want to give it brake, as in most normal cars. But you have to fully disengage the clutch by pushing down on the left foot. If you do not push all the way down the left foot, then you will not be able to stop the car without the car stalling itself. What I mean by stalling is that if the gears are engaged but the car is stopped, the engine will shut itself off and stop, and you have to fully disengage the clutch again and then be able to start your car again. But we try to avoid stalling as it's detrimental to our transmissions. So shifting gears, here's a quick video on the step-by-step. In order to shift up, you have to fully disengage the clutch, shift your gear to the next pattern, and then fully re-engage the clutch by lifting off slowly. And during this process, you're also going to want to give it gas. So here I am doing it again, clutch down, gear shift, clutch up. And that will shift your gears. You're going to want to do this around 3,000 RPM to ensure that your car is operating at the best it can. But the major thing that you have to remember is that your foot cannot be on the gas at all while you're shifting the gear, in the middle of shifting a gear. You have to remove your foot entirely from the gas and then disengage your clutch, and then shift, gas down, and clutch at the same time. One down, one up at the same time. For downshifting, it's the same process but backwards. When your car drops below 2,000 RPM, you're going to want to shift down to make it operate at its optimal settings. So you're going to want to take your foot off the gas, clutch down, shift down into your second gear, shift down a gear, for example, shifting from third to second gear, and then giving the car more gas to match the RPMs that it should be at, and then releasing your clutch slowly. Once you've done that, you've effectively shifted down a gear and you're back at your optimal settings. So that's the basics on how to shift gears. So in conclusion, let's wrap it up. We covered the three most important parts of the shifter, the tachometer, and the clutch pedal. Those three things are essential to understanding and operating your manual vehicle. Next, we started on how to start the car and stop the car. Both very important, and you'll be doing it a lot in cases of stop and go traffic, red lights, stop signs, anything like that. You'll be needing to do this process a lot. And then we also have shifting, which is another process you'll be doing in numerous amounts of times as you just drive. If you want to accelerate, you're going to need to shift gears. If you're decelerating, you're going to need to shift gears. That's just the moral of the story. All right. And as I said before, though there aren't many of these cars left out there, it's still important to know the basics. You should be able to know how to get the car moving, keep it moving, even if you're not doing it great, even if you're doing it okay at best. It's important to be able to do it in case the situation needs and an emergency is happening and it's all you've got. All right, and for some bonus information, if you guys want to look up what actually goes on inside the transmission, how the tachometer is made, and what exactly it reads out, and also just more information on how to start the car on hills, how to deal with rolling back, and other manual transmission quirks and features, you're going to want to go to these three things. There are different automotive journalism sites, and then one of them is also where we get a company that manufactures sensors for cars, such as the tachometer. With that, guys, I'm going to have to wrap my presentation. Thank you guys for coming.